Hello everyone, this is POW Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to be talking about some Arctic air with a snowstorm, as many of you will experience your first frost or freeze of the season this week. So if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button and notification bell to get all my daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. Good morning everyone, this is your Monday, November the 1st update, and what we're taking a look at here is your overall jet stream, where we can see this atmospheric river coming back for the Pacific Northwest, but the jet stream really starts to buckle, dragging down that colder air. This is a 1032 Arctic high pressure here that's going to funnel some of that colder air into the US as we make a transition throughout the week, and it will continue to buckle as we have a developing low pressure system down here off the south of Texas. And that's going to play a key role as we get into midweek, because by the time we get into that Thursday, November the 4th time frame, you can definitely see the jet stream continues to remain active for the Pacific Northwest, bringing all the heavier rains and for that region. And then that will dive down and almost create like a V shape. And that's that 1030 high pressure here that's funneling down all that colder air and dragging it. And then you have all the rain coming into Texas for Tuesday, and that Wednesday you'll dry out. And as that colder air continues to start pressing further southeast, will eventually impact the southeast with their coldest temperatures of the season. And many of you will experience your first in frost or freeze of the season. So definitely going to be taking care of the plants coming up and all your tender vegetation, as this will continue to press east throughout the week. But as we go into next week, the jet stream lifts back to the north, and this is your second week of November, which we talked about in my November forecast that was released yesterday. So you can actually watch that video after this one. But by week 2, we do have a warm up and kind of a rebound and kind of a reset as we make that transition. But to this week, we have some colder temperatures to talk about. In fact, we've got winter weather advisories in place right now for portions of Wyoming, getting into Nebraska, places like North Platte, Nebraska is picking some heavier snow today. We got our first some freeze warnings taking place in portions of Iowa and northern Illinois, as well as Virginia here with the freeze watch in place as portions of Pennsylvania. And I think a lot of this will start filling in as we go throughout the week, as those colder temperatures continue to settle further and further down to the south. But this morning, here's your actual real-time temperatures as you're waking up to the north and western Canada. We're talking some single digits breaking out in that region, and some widespread teens, and those will continue to funnel down and into Montana this morning with widespread teens and 20s. For the Dakotas, that filters all the way down into Wyoming, getting into portions of Colorado here. So you can see the colder air starting to press from the north, and that will just amplify and deepen as we go throughout the week. And yeah, a lot of you guys in the southeast will get into the action as we get into this weekend. So let's take a look at today where the snow is flying, and that's why they've got those winter weather advisories in place for portions of Wyoming here, especially in Nebraska and portions of Kansas, as it's cold enough for snow to start breaking out in that region. And then we'll also see the development of some lake effect snow. Obviously, these lakes are really warm, so as this cold air continues to press, we're going to be dealing with some lake effect snows around the Great Lakes regions throughout the week. So let's take a look at the overall map for the US, and we can definitely see this cold air continues to press off to the west. That brings the atmospheric river back into play into Washington and Oregon and northern California. And where it's cold enough in the interior regions and the higher elevations, and some of that may mix over to some snow into portions of Idaho, into Wyoming here, and then pretty much all snow into Wyoming. That's where they've got those winter weather advisories in Nebraska today, with a good pocket of 1 to 3, and some areas of seeing some 3 to 5 inch snow amounts in and around, say, the North Platte, Nebraska area, where they're picking up 1 to 3 inches today, but surrounding areas could pick up easily 3 to 5 inches from this particular snow event. And kind of a mixed variety as we get filtering down into Denver, getting into portions of Kansas. But there's that cold front continue to sag south, It's going to take its sweet time because it takes a lot of push from the north, and it's just slowly going to sag south. But this is Monday, and it's still warm, say, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where they're expecting, say, 80 degrees today. But that's going to make a big change as we go into tomorrow. But as we make that transition into tomorrow, that snow continues to fan and break out. I showed you that V shape that's going to be buckling by Thursday. That's the indication that that colder air dragging down from the north, getting all the way into Texas. There's that lake effect snow that we talked about with that cold front. And as the winds continue to press, we could see 1 to 3, 3 to 5 inch snow amounts in around the Great Lakes regions, and your kind of your favored lake effect snow areas in that region. So do expect that as that colder air will continue to press south. And as it does, we got some rain, and a chilly rain that's going to break out, especially as you transition into Tuesday into Oklahoma, and then really start to kind of filtering in into portions of, or say, around the Red River into North Texas. As maybe a Tuesday night, we're going to have seeing some cold air, cold rain start breaking out. But during the day, I kind of zoomed in to show you the difference here of this shallow, cold air mass. We're talking, this is afternoon 21Z, that's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, guys. And so we're talking widespread 50s and 40s for much of Oklahoma and Arkansas, getting into the Texas Panhandle and West Texas. So that's definitely some chillier air mass. So average high in Dallas-Fort Worth is 70. So we're talking low 50s by the time we get into 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday. But look at the transition where the demarcation line of widespread 70s in central Texas and further south. That's a colder air mass. We're 20 degrees difference here in your daytime high temperatures as that slow air continues to drain down from the north. So as we go into that Wednesday time frame, it's just going to be a nasty day for much of Oklahoma and much of Texas with that cold and chilly rain. Good 20 to 25 degrees below average temperatures going to be locked in place, and that cold air will continue to drain further down and from the north. We're talking some snow breaking out in the Texas Panhandle, portions of western Oklahoma, portions of Kansas. So that is definitely some colder air as that continued rain basically on a daily basis for that atmospheric river more or less in place into Washington and Oregon and northern California again, with those daily isolated moderate showers. It's coming back pretty much all week for that area. There's that lake effect snow continue to fall right here in the northern areas, and then there's that boundary with that colder air. And then as that continues to press further southward, but now we're talking Wednesday afternoon, 3 o'clock. Yeah, now instead of 70s, we're talking 40s and 50s for much of central Texas. So you're definitely going to feel it in much of Oklahoma and portions of New Mexico, but it's mainly going to be a central and eastern parts of the U.S. And look at that. I mean, there's Arkansas. By the time we get into 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, it's going to be in the upper 30s. That is some cold air mass, definitely, and you're going to feel it in a big way. It's not in Houston yet, but it will be as we make that transition deeper into the week. But there's your rain as we deal with the rain in much of Oklahoma and Texas on Tuesday and Wednesday. By Thursday, that colder air will continue to press. So more, it's a cloudy day and it's a chilly day, colder day, but the rain will be gone, and say in Dallas. But now the rain's going to be setting up for portions of the south into Houston, getting into portions of southern Louisiana, getting into the southeast here, and then where it's going to be cold enough that as that cold air continues to press, especially say in the Appalachians, we could make that transition with, say, a cold air damming event taking place over the Appalachians here, with that snow starting to fly. There's the rain continue. It's almost like a broken record all week. This is going to be a daily event for that region. So as we go into that Thursday time frame, this is your feels like. This is the apparent temperature, which is your wind chill, what it feels like to the body. And so, yeah, that's a huge difference when you're expecting an average high of 70 degrees. and you got your afternoon feels like temperature, widespread 40s, even some 30s, and yeah, 51 degrees, what it's going to be feeling like by the time we get into that Thursday afternoon in the Houston Metroplex. So that is going to be a big change that's going to be on the table for this week, as that cold air continues to press, and widespread 40s and 30s for feels like all the way down into the southeast. So as we go into that Friday time frame, that cold air continues to press down to the southeast. We've got warmer conditions coming in on the backside, but as it clears, as you clear, you got light winds, you got radiational cooling. The temperature, the actual temperature takes place about 4 to 6 feet above the surface. But typically when you got a light wind and you got a colder air mass, you got what they call radiational cooling takes place, it settles down to the surface, and that's the surface, and that's where you create those frost conditions. And I think a lot of these areas are going to be under frost and freeze warnings, especially for portions of the deep south by the time we get into that Thursday, and then especially on Friday morning as that cold air continues to drain. So as you clear out, say in Dallas, on the backside, you got that radiational cooling taking place, and that's when you start to bottom out. So I'm expecting numerous, no official freeze in Dallas, but in the outlying areas, you're going to be having to protect your plants and for your first frost of the season in those regions. But you can see the cold air continues to press all the way down to the southeast, and even Florida starts getting into the action. That's going to be a welcome change for that region. It's going to be feeling really cold because it really doesn't get that cold in Florida. But the big change this week as we go into Friday, yeah, the atmospheric river continues to take place in the Pacific Northwest, but this air mass, it continues to press further southeast, and a lot of the heavier rains, instead of riding up the coast, continue to press off further off. So a lot of these rains are going to be setting up over the ocean versus inland. So you still pick up those rains along the eastern seaboard on Friday, but that will continue to press as we go into Saturday. But by the time we wake up on Saturday morning, there's your colder anomalies with those 10, 15, 20 degrees below average anomalies for much of the southeast into the Ohio Valley as the warmer conditions start to press in from the west. And then there's the actual rain for Saturday. As that rain continues to press, you see much of the country is crystal clear. It's just mainly a coastal event by then. We're from the Pacific Northwest, clear in the interior regions with that cold air funneling in from the north. And then that transition off to the East Coast with those sporadic showers continue to press further east, but the cold air continues to remain in place and filters all the way down even to Miami. You're talking places could wake up, say, in the 50s by the time you get into Sunday morning as that cold air continues to press. Let me show you the actual temperatures, and I think this is going to be even a little bit colder because I'm expecting many frost advisories in place for much of the southeast. Places like Atlanta, you're talking 38, but I'm thinking 35, 34, and that would create a frost. And so I am expecting, even in the portions, say, of Atlanta, Georgia, some frost advisories taking place by the time we get into that Sunday morning time frame, November the 7th, and 40s for the Florida Panhandle, and all the way down into, say, Tampa, we're talking 40s. So that is some definitely chilly air mass that's going to be on the table throughout the week. But as that Sunday time frame, you can see it really winds down. All the precipitation continues to press off the East Coast. And the only game in town with the rain showers is off the West Coast. So you're going to be adding to those totals throughout the week. So let me show you that. I mean, it's another 3 to 5 inch swath of rain pretty much all throughout the week for your areas that have seen a lot of rain, especially along the coastal regions of Washington and Oregon and Northern California. It really dries out for the Southern California and much of the Southwest. There's your track. There's your basically storm track throughout the week. Much of this is going to be forming in the fall of a kind of a wet snow, but then transitioning to Oklahoma and Texas with a good 1 to 3 inch swath of rain coming your way this week. That'll transition to Louisiana, pretty much dry, where it's going to be that Arctic air, and that will continue to funnel down. And that's the difference here. A lot of the heavier rains set up off the coast instead of just right inland. So a lot of your areas might end up dry, and a lot of these areas right here where it's showing precipitation will be falling in the form of snow, with that lake effect snow really ramping up as we go throughout the week. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you for and after the storm.